one this size is gonna be an owner finance deal, because no bank will touch it, you can't get SBA on it, you can't get any financing.
Yeah.
So all the little businesses in town are almost all owner finance.
There was a place down the street here that it was a restaurant. It used to be a restaurant, and it's a vacated restaurant, and it has commercial or has residential on top. She wants owner financing because no one can buy it.
That's like this place, isn't it?
It's very similar to this, yeah.
There's a lot of that used in certain kinds of.
Yeah. So you guys just become creative.
I see that in LA too.
Yeah. So showing the property. How do you do that? If it's occupied, you're just going to set up with the seller to show the house. Have them refer all pricing questions to you. I let the person know who I'm buying the house from. I say, look, I'm not going to move forward on this until I know that I have someone that's going to be a suitable tenant for me in this particular property. I want to find a suitable person that's going to be moving in here. So I'm going to show this property. I may or may not be here at times where they show the property. If I'm not, will you show the property? Sure, I have no problem, because they're in a bad place. Remember, most of these guys, they need to get rid of the property. So I then say, refer all pricing questions to me. I coach them on what to say. And they go, yeah, no problem. So they just go ahead and they go, you know what, that's a price question. Ask Ryan about that. He knows all the details. He's handling all the financing of this part, this part for me. So that's if it's occupied. If it's not occupied, I put a lockbox on the property. I hide a second key at the property just in case some person decides to walk off with my key. Ask me how I know. I have the buyer text me their ID before I give them the lockbox code. I then have them take a self-tour and text me once it's all locked back up. Follow me? Yeah. Okay. So, Lockbox Text. So here's the $4,000 down. Hi, my name is Trina. I'm very interested in the home that was posted on Facebook. I know you have 3 financial options, but I was wondering if you would do a $4,000 down, $1,500 a month for rent to own. We talked about this. So she asked me. She's negotiating with me. That's a possibility, but I want you to see it first. I always say, look, you haven't even seen the house yet. Okay, we can. When can we see it? It would be me and my grandparents. I said it's vacant now. There's no utilities or lights on, so I wouldn't want you to go during the. I would want you to go during the daytime. If I can't be there to show it to you, you can just text me your ID and I can give you the lockbox code. So you can go in and take a look. Spend your time. Go in and take your time looking around. Then she said, so I would like to go and look at it tomorrow. So she sends me her ID. Can you tell me, go look at it tomorrow. Can you tell me what fixer-up things need to be done? Here's lockbox code, blah, blah, blah. Upstairs is totally livable. It definitely needs to be cleaned out. There's a lot of furniture and leftover junk. Downstairs needs to be cleaned out as well. There's some broken windows that need to be replaced, some drywall that has mildew on it. It's hard to explain without actually seeing it yourself. Is the plumbing and roof good? Then we keep on going. But so she went and saw the property. Text me when she was done. So that's how I handle vacant properties, so that I'm not like, especially if they're far away. This is an hour away. I'm either going to stack all of them up and have them all come at the same time and start competing for each other, which I do. Bidding wars, always great. Or just like, hey, go take a look at it. Text me if you're interested. We'll go from there. If you notice, I use the word mildew. Not mold. Mold has this like, oh my gosh, it's black and it's mold. Oh my gosh, gotta get out of here. So I just use mildew. What's the difference between mold and mildew? Isn't it the same thing? Yeah. I used to run an apartment complex in Sacramento, and the guy says never use mold. It's always mildew. Always mildew. He's like, I'm not gonna get in a lawsuit because you slipped and made it like a mispronunciation. It's mildew. I was like, oh, okay. That's why I picked that one up at. What were you gonna say?
Do you ever like secure windows are broken? Do you ever secure like put a board up or anything when you lock the door? Or you just lock the door and people won't try to get through?
So yeah, no, that's a good question. So in this particular house, when I got there, I was waiting for the key, and I had a list of people. Like I had like 4 or 5 people outside just waiting. Like they all wanted to get in, and I'm waiting for the key, and I'm like, man, I should go into this house. So the window was all jagged, like sharp edges, and then it was probably about a 5-foot drop. So it's a split entry home. No way was I going to go in that window. I would end up like slicing my gut, just falling on the ground, just not working, crying in fetal position, waiting for the cops to come. So yeah, it's not going to go in that window. So in that particular case, yeah, I would. If it was something else, yeah, I would definitely have secured the house a little bit better. Especially if it was nice inside. This house, I mean, you saw it already. This house is like, come on inside. You can probably, improve it. No, I didn't sell to her. She went. She saw it. She said,
This is the Jeff Rosso guy.
no, he bought it. This is the house that he bought. Yeah. This girl wanted 4 down, $1,500 a month. We went round and round and around with her grandparents, and what ended up happening was at the last minute, the grandfather says, "Look, it's just finally just too much work. We really don't want to do it. So we don't want to do it. It's too much work." Yeah, it really was. It went to the better person. Jeff was the one that could handle it, took care of the sewer problem, all that stuff.
This one you may hear back from.
Oh yeah, she was really cool. Okay, bonus market test. What if there's a way to test the market to find a buyer without the seller having to commit to you to sell the property? What if you could find a buyer and then commit to the property while the seller tried other means to sell their house?
You can put a ghost ad up on.
Ghost ad. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Hang on. Actually, I'll wait. I'll hold it a little bit longer. I'm going to die, but I'll hold it. All that water I've been drinking. Lease option memo. So the lease option memo says the seller may cancel this agreement at any time if they find their own tenant or decide not to sell. Buyer's intention is to find a lease option tenant and assign this lease option agreement memo to that lease option tenant for a fee. Lease option tenant will then pay seller the monthly lease amount until they exercise their option or until they end the option term. Okay.
So does this set you up to cut you out as soon as they find a buyer?
No, not really. Nope. So read this while I go empty my bowels, my bladder. Nope. So it's on page 32. Read it real quick. I'll be right back. Look it over. We'll go over it. Okay, any questions?
What do you get out of it?
So I used this. I actually just used this recently. I had a guy that called me up. He was a referral. He says, "Hey, my wife and I are going through a divorce right now, and I heard that you can help us." I said, "Well, actually, I can. What are you looking for?" He's like, "Well, I want $20,000 out of it. I don't care what my wife wants, but she's probably going to see if I can get 20 that I want. She wants 20, so probably $40,000." I said, "Okay, well, how much do you owe on it?" He's like, "I owe $276. What do you think it's worth?" Well, we've had 3 realtors out here, and they all say it's probably worth about, if we sit on the market and let it go for about 6 months or so, we can probably get about $370 for it, but I want to get rid of this thing pretty quick, so I'll sell it to you for $315. Okay. 276 plus 40 doesn't add up. So I said, where's the difference at? He's like, well, yeah, you're kind of right. Let me do that here. So, so 276 plus 40. That's about right. 315, 316. He goes, he's like, well, so when do you want to buy it? I said, well, hey guy, I'm a smart investor. I'm not going to risk my money until I know I have it sold. So I'm gonna like to test the market and let the market speak to me and see if it's even an investment that I want to invest in at that price.